Well, good morning. Looking forward to going deeper into our conversation about conscious dying. And I wanted to make reference to a seminal book and a workshop series done by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross back in the 1960s. Her book on death and dying came out in 1969, and she described their basically 5 stages of grief dealing with death. And those 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and grief. So this was primarily working with terminal patients that she developed this support system for caregivers for those that are terminally ill. And just, again, I think a big part of that is simply allowing someone in the process of dying, if they're now conscious, if they're terminal, they're conscious of their imminent death, to support the caregivers in allowing them the space to go through these stages. So in my program of conscious dying, there's a clear choice, okay, that I would put at stage 2, where one has overcome denial and now one is angry. That's an energetic opportunity to make a choice, to move forward, instead of going into the bargaining, just like accepting the death. That there's an opportunity with conscious dying to make a choice, okay, basically eliminating the egoic defensive strategy of denial and projection to now claim one's authority, okay, claim one's ability to make a decision that isn't necessarily what the mainstream is doing. Okay, so just take, for example, right now with the COVID situation and the vaccine, that one could easily deny the problem with the vaccines. One could easily deny the fact that the government really doesn't have your best interest in mind, or I shouldn't say maybe the government, but the machine, the big pharma and those that are kind of pushing this agenda, okay, of depopulation, that one could clearly make a choice that involves claiming one's authority to say, no, thank you. I'm going to choose an alternative route, okay? So instead of dying the way they would have you die, you can choose to die in a different way, which might involve your awakening, and you're choosing to continue a conscious living life, okay? The original problem that happened in our egoic world, where we were conditioned to believe that we didn't have power, but that others around us had power, whether it was parents and teachers, government officials, religious leaders, whatever. So abdicating the throne of our own lives, projecting that power onto others, created the dilemma that we're in today. Okay, so the solution to that dilemma, of course, is reclaiming that authority that we abdicated at an earlier time in our lives. So conscious dying is this big hand up saying, no more. And you're basically saying no more to yourself, no more abdicating the throne, no more giving my power away. By reclaiming our power, we can make choices that have to do with our true role, okay, in a new earth, which is aligning with this infinite power that would guide us, inform us, instruct us, okay? No more denying that power and projecting it elsewhere. There's no more mentors, no more healers, no more teachers, no more gurus. The time is now. In fact, it's very important to realize that a big part of projection, denial and projection, is just imagining this future, well, where, oh, well, okay, well, things will be different in the future, you know, I hope. You know, this whole seeking and not finding bullshit of the ego needs to stop. It's like, okay, the time is now to make a decision. Okay, the place is here. There's no other time, there's no other place. It's here. A new earth is this portal that says, enter here, okay, walk through these gates, and your whole relationship with time and space changes. And I've talked about that quite a bit before. So again, remembering that the trick of the ego and the conditioning that creates the ego is hide and seek, a game of hide and seek, where the treasures are hidden and your job is to seek these treasures. And then the conditioning, whether it's Madison Avenue or whatever, would say, oh, here, you do this, and you do this, and you follow this path, the career, the marriage, the children, the whatever, the new car, the vacations. There's your happiness. Well, guess what? That game of hide and seek didn't work out so well, did it? Not for most people. So the way out of that maze, that trap, is simply to say no more. Step out of the paradigm. I'm offering you a new paradigm. Okay, that's the whole choice, okay, to choose. And I'm not saying choose me as a guru, choose me as a teacher. No, what I'm saying is, no, you're the one. And I'll say that to anybody. I'll never say, oh, I have something you don't. No, not at all. My path is very simple and it's very available to everybody. There's no secret formula. There's no mysterious mantras. There's no special way to do this. It's a very simple way. It's a simple way of saying no to the lie and yes to the truth. Nothing could be simpler. I'm not saying it's easy because, again, if you're so conditioned to believing the lie, it might be a little bit of a stretch to accept the truth. But it's a big step. It's a big step in this whole cycle. You know, if you were just being marched toward your doom, you say, well, no, that's not happening. And then later you're angry. Wow, I can't believe it is happening. And then trying to bargain with the devil, and then dealing with the reality, which will be depressing. And then hopefully acceptance. And then you move through your transition, dropping your body. Life goes on. An alternative is simply to, like I've talked about before, die without hurting the body and wake up and enjoy a new earth, which is available to all of us. So, you know, there's a line from A Course in Miracles that talks about your role as the light of the world, in the sense that you are the only savior for your world. Okay? The only one that's going to save the world is you, because you created the world that you're living in. It is your creation. My world is my creation. You know, there is a radiant truth, but that's outside of this idea of my world, your world. You know, the world that we're making up, this dream, is either a happy dream or not so happy dream. So the idea again is claiming your authority that you're making this up. 100% of your reality, what you think of as your reality, is your choice, your choices, your decision, what you've decided to construct, usually in agreement with some other conditioning agent. So here we are. We're at this crossroads, right? When you're sort of angry enough to make a choice, to make a change. Okay, that's a good thing. Anger is an energetic move forward. So it's just a matter of looking at the alternatives and choosing the very best alternative for you. Yeah, one of the things that I've talked about for a long, long time is getting out of this belief in healing as if there's something to be healed. Again, this was one of the real core mistakes that many have made, just allowing a belief in disease and death to become a dominant belief system, which is really hard for many to overcome. And again, this is the whole situation that's going on in the world now is predicated on this belief in disease, in death, in weakness, and needing to be saved by some authority that knows better than we do. It's crazy. It's insane. So for a long time in my healing journey, I became very aware that if a person gets stuck in this syndrome of, well, I'm sick, I need healing, it becomes this mantra that becomes shared by others in your same world, whether it's, cancer or, I remember being in this 12-step world of addiction, and there just being this thing like, well, this is a disease, we're sick people and we have to stick with this 12-step program for the rest of our lives, or death and destruction is going to consume us. It might be true for some, but it was not true for me. And I realized at 17 years sober, I got to get out of this cult, because, it's all like, you're either a member of the cult or, you're one of the sleeping ones. So transformation is what I began to target as the goal, not healing, which is a reference to sickness, but transformation, which is a reference to our radiant truth. Okay, that we always were on a path of transformation, just we might have gotten stuck along the way at the stage that looked like, oh, broken me, I've got to get therapy, I've got to get healing and all of that. Now, I'm not saying that's not useful, necessary. To a point, it is. It's, part of the baby steps of becoming the true savior of our world that we are. We're called to be the savior of our world. And so this radiant, eternal wisdom that comes from the timeless realm will take over at some point if you listen and allow it to take over and start instructing you as to your true nature. Okay, and I'm in alignment with that voice, so I'm speaking on its behalf, telling you that you are this great, powerful, sovereign being that has the authority in all things of your life, all things. Any place you feel like you don't have power, that you've given your power away, this is again the conscious dying that says, no, I'm going to stop that lie and take it back. Claim authority in all arenas of my life. So that's simply, the essence of conscious dying is is removing ourselves from the conditioned trap of the egoic structure, and allowing that to be what it is. We're not killing the ego. We're just moving out of the limitations of the tribal mind and the egoic mind and stepping into something else. And so that's the invitation I offer to you is to live consciously. First, there's this conscious dying that says no to the illusion. And then you begin step by step to assume the true authority for your life. So I think that's plenty for today. Keep these short and sweet. I love you so much. Have an amazing, beautiful day.